So we learn in this week's episode that the Blue Clan was actually not covering everything. There was areas of criminal activity that they wasn't looking into, but the Red was. And now that they are working together, they have a much easier time finding and capturing the Green Clan members. And even though this is a good thing, there's some in the Blue that thinks that they shouldn't work too closely together with other clans, while there's people like the Munchi who thinks it's a good thing. And considering what Nagara did in this week's episode, I think it's good that they work together because else they will have a really big problem. Yeah. And also, the Blue King, let me see, Reishi, he actually, man, he played his card smart because not only did he get to be the protector and suppressor of the what's it called, the Slate, which actually may explain why his sword of Democra is basically falling apart because he suppresses its power to evolve people. And I will explain more about that later on. Or no, let's take about that now, because we find out that the Slate is actually evolving people, and it was held in check by the Golden King for decades. And without him holding it in check, we would have seen a lot of strain, like Neko, who basically got their power without having gotten them for a king, and we would have a lot of we would maybe have more kings than we have now, and they would have been outside the Kanjo region. It's actually thanks to the Golden King that didn't happen. So the Golden King, he was pretty powerful, and I wonder if Shiro was to hold it back, considering that his body is immortal and basically indestructible, then couldn't he hold it back forever? Yeah, that's actually a really good question. But also, we found out actually it's a little mistake from my point of view, because I forgot to tell you last week that the reason why the apartment of Shiro was held so nicely was that the Golden Clan was like ensuring that it wouldn't fall apart, because that was the order the Golden King has given them to basically support Shiro's clan member and the place, ensuring that he had a place to return to when he came home until he came down. Then they had to basically go into a neutral state, or basically pull away from the war. So the only thing they did to basically stabilize this war was to ensuring that the current system would hold, and there wasn't like any threats. But they are not like active lending, like, say, the Silver King some aid. And Shiro, he could have been an ass at said when they asked if they was given permission to do this. He could have said to them, "No, I want your help." But he respected his friend's last wish and said that the permission was granted. Also, we found out about his sister. Apparently, she knew what would happen to her, and that Daikaku, he wouldn't stop for anything to achieve his dream. So she actually accepted that she was gonna die. Really interesting, and I wonder what is written on that paper that what she's called Shiro got about that slate, because I I really want that. There was also a German word. I don't know what it is because I don't talk that language, and I don't know what it means. So if there's anyone that talks German, I'll write it in the comments, and I hope someone can tell me what it means because it wasn't clarified in this episode. So yeah. So now we don't have the gold members to basically like support them. However, as I said, Reishi, he is actually really smart because not only did he get the slate, which is most likely him holding it back, the reason why his sort of democracy is falling apart because it put strain on his body, but it's also he also got the political power or stuff that the Gold Clan had, so he can now threaten the prime minister who thought that with Daikaku's death that he was like free to do what he wanted, but now he has to be working for the Blue Clan. So yeah, really smart move from Reishi, and I hope he's not like an evil person, because that could be really bad for us if he decided to go like, oh, I'm gonna betray you now. So yeah, really interesting. But what did Nagara do in this week's episode? He actually talked with Shiro about uh, joining into an alliance, just those two, where they would fulfill Shiro's dream, or the dream he had 70 years ago, about evolving humans. And that's how we got the information about the Slate and how powerful the Golden King was. But yet, Shiro, he don't have that dream anymore, because he is more concerned about holding what is now here than evolving the humans. So he turns him down, and Nagara then declares war on him. So we can expect a lot more green activity in the upcoming episodes. We also find out that Nagara was the guy who actually, like, what's it called, played it so Shiro would come down to Earth, in the first season, and basically perpetrated all of the events, like sending the colorless king up to him and stuff. Also, he would, what's it called, come down here, because he is not to be a bystander, he has to be a player. So yeah, really interesting. Really interesting stuff in this week's episode. And I love it so much. I love it so much. I hope they soon get Missing King out on Blu-ray, or so I can watch it. Oh man, again, it's so good. But this week's episode of K Return of Kings, as I already said, amazing, guys. Amazing. But when all that is said and done, thank you guys for watching my review, and have a good day, good night, wherever you are, and I'll see you later. Cheers.